I'll approach like a woman with a master's degree. I'll be having a conversation and I'll be like, women aren't great leaders. They were never supposed to be the leader. And they'll be like, oh my God. And you'll see their face like light up. You'll see the smile go onto their face. They'll be like, oh my God, you really think that? It's almost like what they're thinking and what they're feeling are two totally separate things. They know that I'm right. They're like, oh my God, nobody ever says stuff like that.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host, Paul Bauer.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Come On Man. If you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, hit those notifications. If you guys are watching on YouTube, drop a comment. Any comment will do. If this is the premiere on Monday mornings, sound off in the live chat because I'm usually in there cutting clips and stuff like that. So say hi. If you guys are listening on your favorite audio platform of choice, please give us a 5-star review, and I will actually read out your review. If you leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, I will read that in an upcoming episode. So please do that. Take the time. That helps out, more than you know. Follow me on all social media. The links are in the description. I'm on pretty much all the major social media platforms out there. Consider joining the Patreon, patreon.com/comeonmanpod. That really does help support the show more than anything else. You can join for as little as $10, and you get all of these episodes, the Monday episodes, ad-free and without all of this intro stuff. You also get them a couple of days early. So I actually post these ad-free episodes on Patreon the Friday before these episodes come out. So you get them before anybody else. You can actually tune into these. So get on the Patreon for as little as $10. And then if you want some coaching, tiers 2 and tiers 3 are done through Patreon as well. Be sure to get on the email list.comeonmanpod.com, and I will send you some free stickers. And if you like the designs of the stickers, if you're watching on YouTube, you can also get these on merch as well. I'm holding up a mug here. And this mug is the "None of you can be first, ladies. None of you can be first, but all of you can be next" mug. Imagine getting this mug and then taking it to work, and then one of your female coworkers is like, "What is that supposed to mean?" You're like, "You know exactly what it means, lady." Delicious. Anyway, you can get the mugs at merch.comeonmanpod.com. You can also get hoodies and t-shirts and stuff too. That all supports the show. And then finally, check out the Practical Law of Attraction course, LOA.comeonmanpod.com. That's LOA.comeonmanpod.com. A lot of you guys tune into the podcast because you're trying to find, the woman of your dreams, right? You guys are all out there on the dating circuit for the most part, and a lot of you guys are struggling. You guys are struggling to find good Whamen. Where are the good Whamen at? And the thing is, most of you guys are so focused on what you don't want in a woman that's all you tend to attract. And there's a reason for that, because we get what we focus on in life. So if you start focusing on all the things that you don't want, your mind can't tell the difference between what you do want and what you don't want. All it does is it focuses on whatever you're focusing on the most, right? And that's what you start seeing everywhere. So you start seeing all these trash women out there. But if you change your mindset and I'll show you how to do that in my course, what you'll start doing is you'll be hyper focused on the women you do want, all the women that check all of your boxes, and they will start showing up everywhere. And it's not because they weren't there before. It's because you just weren't aware of their presence before. So this course will show you how to become hyper aware of the type of women you want to attract in your life. And you'll start seeing them everywhere. It's not magic. It's psychology. You can also use it for other areas in your life too, whether it's, finances, money, better career, all that kind of stuff. It all starts with your mindset. So check out the course today, LOA.comeonmanpod.com. All right. My guest this week is a pretty funny guy. He goes by the MisoGenius, the Massage Genius on TikTok, which is a dating coach parody account, and it's pretty damn hilarious. His real name is Jim, and Yeah, he's funny. He originally, when we first got connected, he was following my TikToks, and he was doing this like troll account where he was stitching people's videos and just trolling their content. And then he realized, you know what, I could actually probably make a parody account that just sort of makes fun of dating coaches. And the funny thing is, like, the advice that he gives, it's really geared towards women and to sort of make fun of women. It's super hilarious. You guys, I highly recommend you guys give him a follow. And this conversation is great. And I will bring you that right after these words. Do you struggle to find the kind of women you want? Are you tired of swiping away all day on dating apps and only finding mediocre women? When you're out and about at the supermarket or at the mall, all you see are woke liberal women? You can't seem to find a traditional submissive woman that checks all your boxes. What if I were to tell you that the reason why you can't find your traditional submissive woman is because of your mindset, because of your paradigm? We get what we focus on in life. And you have programmed your mind to think that there's only trash women around you. You've programmed your mind by focusing on what you don't want in a relationship. To solve this problem, I've created my practical law of attraction course. In my course, I will teach you how to reprogram your subconscious mind so that you will be hyper aware of the kind of women that will check all of your boxes. It's not that they weren't there before, it's just that you weren't aware of them because of your current mindset. So let's change that mindset today. Check out my course by visiting loa.comeonmanpod.com. That's loa.comeonmanpod.com. The law of attraction is nothing without action. So act now. All right, joining me this week is a pretty funny guy that goes by the MisoGenius or the MisoGenius. I don't know how you like to pronounce that. I have the hardest time pronouncing that in my head. The MisoGenius on TikTok, which is a dating coach parody account. That's how I would sort of describe it. Would you describe it as that, a dating coach parody?
I've changed it so many times. Like, I was gonna say, like, hey, I'm a sexism advocate, or like, hey, I advocate sexism. Like, I did a video today about why Nikki Haley shouldn't be president. So, and that one's doing pretty well across platforms, even on Instagram, which is weird. So, I kind of just do whatever I want, whatever I'm in the mood to do. But kind of the main premise of the account is kind of comedic sexism.
Comedic sexism. I love it. So as you can tell, if you're watching on YouTube, his name is Jim. What's going on, Jim, man? This is great that we were able to connect because we've been sort of following each other for a little while now.
Yeah, definitely.
So now the MisoGenius, I can't pronounce it, dude. It's so hard.
I just say, just call me Miso.
The Miso. Okay, so the Miso account. So that account isn't your first online character that I came across. Like, when we first connected, you were doing some other kind of troll account. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the very first account that I did was Joey Troll. So are you familiar with fitness influencer Joey Swole?
Probably. I mean, if I saw his picture, maybe.
Yeah, he's a big roided out guy, and what he does is he goes and he like shames people on the internet for, inappropriate behavior at the gym. So I originally got on there to troll kind of like him and like make fun of people. So
got it.
It was a troll account where it was like I was into fitness and I was like, hey, I'll be Joey Troll. That's a pretty clever name, where his name is Joey Swole. So
got it. Okay. Did you just sort of abandon that account for the Miso account, the MisoGenius?
I did, yeah. So it was weird how the Miso account kind of got there. So I had both accounts at the same time, and I was just like, hey, let me give this identity a try. A guy that, parodies misogyny. But when I first started, it wasn't so much comedy, like it was serious stuff. Like in the first 5 videos, I spiked a video that got, and now it's at like 13,000 organic views. And it got me 600 followers just in the first 5 videos that I posted. And that was the video on why men need to stop sharing their feelings with women. So it was originally designed to be more of a serious type account, which I can still do the serious stuff, but I have so much more fun with the joking and like bringing the women in and joking with them, because my platform, once it gets to where it's going to be, is going to be predominantly women as opposed to predominantly men, which is weird because all I do is make fun of them.
Right. But yeah, I noticed I hopped on your live was it yesterday or whatever?
Yeah.
Or Monday maybe. I can't remember, but yeah, like everyone in the comments were all chicks, you know.
Yeah.
And you're like, you all love me. It was actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
So what inspired the MisoGenius?
I always, so kind of like you. So was your first exposure to kind of like the red pill, was that Corey Wayne? Because Corey Wayne was definitely mine.
Well, no, Corey wasn't my first one. I think No More Mr. Nice Guy by Dr. Robert Glover was the first book I read.
Okay.
And then I ended up reading Doc Love's The System.
Okay.
Which well, I mean, I listened to it on audio, and you know, that's where the concept of 3% man comes from. And I somehow like came across Corey's videos, and he was talking about being a 3% man. I was like, oh, I bet you he studied this doc guy stuff, and he had a book, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll read that guy's book. Corey's book is basically the exact same information as The System, but I like how Corey sort of worded it better. You know, I wasn't a fan of The System. So yeah, I ended up reading Corey's book. I've read it like 21 times now. But so you're a 3% brother then, I take.
I haven't read the book 15. I haven't read the book 15 times, but
you get a diploma. You get a diploma one.
I don't like to read that much, but
yeah,
okay. I had found him, you know, because I was like, hey, I want to try to get Next back. And then, you know, I think a lot of people find him for that reason. And then ever since then, I was just like, wow, this information is, you know, makes a tremendous amount of sense. And then as I did kind of looked at the red pill, as I looked at it, more and more of the stuff on the internet about it, I was like, hey, you know, I'm pretty knowledgeable based on what I've uncovered with it. How great would it be to kind of combine that with some of the comedy type stuff to kind of bring some attention to it? And where mine gives kind of a more unique spin to it is when I bring the satire in. There's a lot of truths in my actual satire. So it's almost communicating the messages to the women in a much lighter way. Like women, educated women, like that's kind of one of my staples. Like women that are educated are a pain in the ass. And, you know, it's because the colleges are teaching them to hate men. They're becoming know-it-alls, and like, I'll deliver it in a comedic way and they'll be like, oh yeah. And it's like, no, but actually there's some points to what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think the way you deliver it, and for people that don't follow you, give them a follow. It's at the MisoGenius or MisoGenius on TikTok, right? Or on all social media platforms.
It's on all social media platforms. Right. The ones that are performing right now are YouTube is actually the highest performing right now. So if we're on YouTube right now, come find me on YouTube. It's fun there, and TikTok's fun too. The other ones are just really kind of fun accounts.
Well, I'll link to it in the description here. So give him a follow. It's pretty funny, but yeah, the way he says some of the stuff, it's spot on. It's absolutely accurate. And the chicks, like, they sort of like don't like hearing it, but you know that the way he's saying it, that they sort of take it better. So they're like, yeah, you're right. We are like that, you know?
Yeah.
But if you say some of the stuff in like the way that I say it, I get my video flagged because it's, you know, it's hate speech and bullying now all of a sudden, just because you say something that's unflattering to women. So the way you do it is actually genius. It's what one might say MisoGenius or MisoGenius. Yeah, it's good stuff. Do you have any other accounts with like different content, or is this your sole gig right now?
So I have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and all the content across the platforms is the same, just about. However, my response videos are on TikTok, and then I repurpose them to YouTube. I remove the watermarks, and then I put them over to YouTube, because the response videos probably make up 2/3 of my new subscribers on YouTube, just the response videos on TikTok. So
yeah, it's kind of funny that way too, because for people that don't do content creation, if you download, you know, a response video on TikTok, it's got the person's like question in the like in, you know, wherever you put it. And but on TikTok, you can like click on that person's comment and go to the original video to see where they made the comment. You can't do that on Instagram or Shorts. So you wouldn't think that it would do as well, but they do great.
Yeah, well, the reason why it does so good repurposed to YouTube is because I'll make the response video in context on TikTok, and then I'll repurpose it, and it'll be out of context to YouTube. They won't know where the hell it's coming from. So, especially in the beginning when I started the YouTube account, the people don't know what the heck's going on. It's just an army of angry men like, how dare you? Could you talk to women like that? How dare you? And what's funny is those people are still there, but there's less of them because now that my audience is actually starting to participate, they'll get in when they see those people and they'll be like, sir, you're actually a nerd and you shouldn't be here. Go away. So,
yeah. I've noticed my videos do really good on shorts. Like they do the best on shorts. I have a video and it'll sometimes these videos on shorts will take months to pop off. But I have a video that I posted like 9 months ago, and it took about 7 months, and then all of a sudden, boom, it blew up. Now it has almost 2 million views on shorts. Yeah, and it's like, but the funny thing is, like when the videos initially post to shorts, it's just all like just troll a-holes on YouTube Shorts. Like the people that comment aren't like, oh, I agree with this. It's almost like all libtards, you know, like blue-pilled simps, and they're like, oh, I can't believe you talk about women this way. Like it. But I don't care on YouTube because like they're not taking my video down. On TikTok, if you get some kind of blue-haired feminist, you're like, I gotta block you right away, or you're gonna ban, you know, you're gonna report my video for hate speech or something. Yeah. Which is really unfortunate. Which sort of really pushes me to want to make more content on Instagram and YouTube as opposed to TikTok at all. But yeah, is what it is. It's still one of the easiest ways to build a following. I hate to say, but
on
YouTube
on TikTok, you think?
Yeah, but YouTube I think is really trying to compete, and so YouTube Shorts is easily like a high number 2, second place as far as building a big following relatively quickly, as long as you're posting shorts.
Yeah, are you monetized on YouTube?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I was so on my Come On Man Pod account on TikTok, I had signed up for the creator fund after 10,000 followers. That's a waste of time. It's such a waste of time. You get nothing. You get like pennies a month. And then as soon as you sign up for it, they lower your views. Like it actually impacts your reach. Yeah. So it's like, why even do it? But on YouTube, they just started monetizing shorts. So it's like, this is great, you know, and actually I'm seeing real money show up in my analytics, and I'm like, this is great. This is screw TikTok, man.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there in no time. Like at the way that I'm pacing, I'll be there in like 3 months at the most, maybe sooner. Mm-hmm. So I'm growing much quicker on YouTube than I am on TikTok.
Yeah, and it's funny. I like to network. I like to network with other creators and stuff. There's guys that have been in the red pill space for years, and they're just under 1,000. They've been like that for a long time. I'm like, make shorts, man. I was like, I have like over 13,000 followers now on YouTube, and almost all because of shorts.
Yeah.
You know? So I was like, dude, you have to be doing shorts right now, or you're just not going to build a following.
Yeah. Yeah, my top video on YouTube Shorts was a repurposed video from Instagram. The girl comes on, she goes, "Hey, you guys are just treating us like a bunch of walking vaginas." And then I was like, of course, because that's the only reason that we hang out with you. And then I repurposed it to YouTube, 6,000 views, 40 new subscribers. Like it took me 5 seconds to record it and come up with it. It's insane how easy it is to get subscribers on YouTube using Shorts.
Yeah.
They need to be doing it.
Speaking of that, though, how men only talk to women because they have vaginas. I mean, that's absolutely true. It's funny. Like guys don't want to admit it because it's offensive, right? But if you really take the time to think about it, the reason why you talk to hot women is because you want to put your penis in a vagina, right? Like you're hardwired biologically to want to put a penis in a vagina. That's why you're talking to women. Like, get on board with that, and you'll do much better with women if you just like fucking own that,
Exactly, and the women appreciate it too.
They really do. In fact, one of the biggest reasons that guys end up in the friend zone is because they're trying to repress, their sexual urges with women. It's like women have had guys try to fuck them since they were like 13 years old. They know you want to fuck them. There's no reason to try to hide that shit,
Yep.
So anyway, speaking of these types of concepts, so you're like, I would say you're very familiar with what I'd refer to as red pill concepts. You already said that you've read Corey Wayne.
Yeah.
Have you read any other books in the space?
No, not particularly. I just kind of follow the space, just like what's going on with, the round tables, Rolo, that stuff. Watching the videos. I don't particularly do a lot of reading. I'm not a reader really.
Wow. I'm more of an audiobook guy than like a sit down, reading a paperback. It takes me so long to read a paperback because I have to make time to do it. Whereas in the car or at the gym or going for a run or something like that, I can throw an audiobook on and it's like effortless. So I read a lot of books, but it's mostly audiobooks. So I was curious. So you do follow like Rolo and the other guys in the space?
Yeah, I kind of just keep up with what's going on. I'd probably say as of late, I don't as much. It's not as much of a necessity for me to do it. A lot of me kind of understanding what's going on with women and men is getting out there and kind of throwing my feet to the fire in a way, talking to the women, getting to know them. Some of it's trial and error, but yeah.
So you say you like actually go out and talk to women. That's so weird. That's so weird. You mean just like study books like ad nauseum and then like, then study more books and then be like, okay, once I read this book 5 more times, then I'm going to talk to them. You actually just go and talk to them. That's such a weird.
We go out and talk to women. And so, yeah, it's just out in the world. It's out, on the internet. And really the best way to building rapport with women is saying things that they don't want to hear. It really is. Because they're so not used to hearing those things. Like every time, I'll give you an example. Like I'll approach like a woman with a master's degree. I'll be having a conversation, and I'll be like, "Women aren't great leaders. They were never supposed to be the leader." And they'll be like, "Oh my God!" And you'll see their face like light up. You'll see the smile go onto their face. They'll be like, "Oh my God, you really think that?" So it's almost like what they're thinking and what they're feeling are two totally separate things. Like they know that I'm right, but they're like, "Oh my God, nobody ever says stuff like that." So, it's so much fun. It's a matter of practice though, because when you first start to do stuff like that, when they go, "Oh my God," like your average guys can be like, "Oh my God, I offended her," and like I'm just like, "No, I'm going to offend you, and if you don't like it, it's too bad."
Yeah, that's actually a funny thing. I think we'll talk a little bit about this some more, but I think in your interview with Glenn, you said something like one of the biggest things you learned was to tell women no.
Yes.
Yeah, because women are used to their male orbiters like just doing whatever, placating them, treating them all, putting them on a pedestal, treating them all super nice, and so the guys that don't treat them that way, guys that treat them like normal human beings, they're not afraid to offend them, stuff like that. These chicks are like, "What's this guy all about? He's not putting me on a pedestal. What's going on here?" It's like now all of a sudden you set yourself apart from the 90% of other dudes that are out there.
Yeah, exactly. Tell them no and tell them when they're wrong, which will be all the time.
They're always wrong. In one of your comments, I don't know if you were replying to one of my comments or on one of your videos, or you were making a comment on one of mine, but you said Sigmas are the best betas.
Sigmas are master level betas.
That's it. Sigmas are master level betas. What do you mean by that? Because I was like, I died laughing because I'm like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, in all honesty, like I don't fully understand like exactly what a Sigma is. It seems to me like just another profile that somebody made up. So I'm not going to spend any inordinate amount of time to figure out what Sigma is exactly. I can understand, when somebody says alpha, I can probably clearly have a pretty decent understanding of that. So whenever somebody mentions like, hey, I'm a Sigma male, or brings up Sigma, it's like, hey, you know, that's just an advanced level beta because they can't be an alpha. That's the joke that comes to mind.
That's the way I've always looked at it. So I pulled it up here because someone posted this online, right? There's the sociosexual hierarchy ranks. And I think it's so retarded, right? Like, because and a lot of people, like, they lose their mind over the idea of alpha and beta too. And then I don't know if you've ever gotten the dipshits in the comments that are like, but what about the wolf study or whatever? That proved that there's no such thing as alpha and beta, which is total bullshit, because you can tell in like human interaction who has like the dominant masculine presence, right? Like,
yeah.
So like, you know that, hey, this guy's sort of commands the room, you know, like that's a fucking alpha right there. Like, you know that. And so like to say, oh, well, some fucking wolf study, like that's some nerd shit. But anyway, so here's what they say for alpha, right? They say alphas are confident, dominant, charismatic, and natural leaders, highly attractive to women. Alphas are extroverts and highly successful in their careers. They thrive on challenges. And then Sigma is right under alpha. It says a Sigma is the introverted alpha. Sigmas are confident lone wolves who do not seek social attention, immensely confident and highly attractive to women, as they are mysterious and charismatic. So basically, they never go out. They never go out. They don't talk to anybody, but they think so highly of themselves. That makes them Sigma, right? Like, how are you attracted to women if you don't go out and talk to women?
It sounds like a definition that's made up by a woman. See, there's a conspiracy out there, Paul, where these women make up all these features that they say are attracted to them. They'll be like, hey, I love a dad bod, or hey, I love a man that's in touch with his feelings. And then they probably made up Sigma male, like, hey, we love a Sigma male, an introverted guy that doesn't go out and talk to other women. We love those guys. And they make up all these things. And then the men are like, hey, let's listen to what the women say. They adhere to it. And then none of the women like them. And it's a never-ending bushel of crap. So, you know, in one of two, it always leads to one of two things. You know, a man, after going through all that, listening to what women say, either comes to the conclusions like, hey, I need to change my behaviors and I need to get better, or they become a black pillar or a MGTOW, which is absolutely terrible. I don't like any of those guys. When I end up with black pillars on my TikTok, I end up blocking them because they make me feel uncomfortable. And if they make me feel uncomfortable, they're going to make the women there feel uncomfortable.
My problem with the MGTOW guys, and it's funny too, because I have friends that are in the MGTOW space that, like, I would say, so there's like there's a spectrum of MGTOWs. And like, so there's like a group of guys that will say that they're MGTOW, but they still go out and date. They'll maybe even have an LTR, right? But they won't get married. They won't live with a chick and stuff like that. Like, I might put myself in that category. I wouldn't call myself a MGTOW guy. But then there's these guys that are just like completely giving up on women. They're black pillars. They hate women. A lot of them are incels. I hate using the term.
Yeah, no, they are.
They're not men going their own way. Like, women have sent them on their way. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So those guys are the worst, because those are the guys that will be in every comment, and they basically copy and paste the same thing. Like, just stay single, and oh, it's not worth it. And you know, it's like, who are you trying to convince, bro? Like, I feel like you're trying to convince yourself that you know, sucking with women is an acceptable solution. You know?
Yeah. You know who the real MGTOWs are? The real MGTOWs are the ones you won't hear about them. The real MGTOW will say, hey, it didn't work out with women. I'm going to go my own way. He will never, ever talk about it on the internet. He'll never, ever shut the rooftops that women suck. He'll just say, hey, didn't work out with women, and he'll move on. But what you'll find is when the guys end up with that attitude, they probably end up finding a good woman because they aren't so focused on women. The key to getting women is just to not make them your primary focus. And then they eventually come. And then when they come, it's just like, hey, you know, this is nice, but then who cares? Like, I was just okay with women, but until once I started the MisoGenius, and like, I'm not monetized yet. I'm not making money off of this yet. I know that I will be, and I know that it's growing and it will continue to grow. But just the clout from this has put me in a spot to be with more women, and I have been with more women since I've had this. So,
yeah, you were saying on your interview with Glenn Lawrence that a lot of your videos you'll tag it as being in the Boston area, so it'll be pushed out to like the local Boston area. Is that right?
I was doing that on Instagram at that time, but Instagram I had moved away from because Instagram really wasn't doing anything. Instagram's not pushing the videos. I'm not getting new followers on Instagram. Like Instagram is just like nothing is happening except tonight. Like I posted a Nikki Haley video. If it's on all platforms if you wanted to check it out. But that one did well. It did okay on TikTok. It did really well on YouTube, and they're pushing it on Instagram right this moment. So I'll be checking it after we get off. But I had another video that I'm going to try again on Instagram. I did one where I told women to get back in the kitchen and start cooking, which that one. So listen to what happened on TikTok with this one, Paul. So I posted that one. It did really well for 400 views, like lots of comments. It's like comments are my vanity metric, not likes, because I don't get likes. I get comments from women that are looking for clickbait. They get in there. So I promote it. I dropped the promo on that video to push it out to more women, and it approved the promo, ran it for 2,000 views. Then I got a message from TikTok like, I'm sorry, this is very sexist, and we're gonna have to pull the promo on this one. So I'm trying to get that one pushed out on Instagram because I got 20 organic views on Instagram for that video, but it had 5 likes and it had 6 comments. So I'm hoping if it gets out to enough women that I'll get some there. And if it's in the area, some women might get into my Instagram, and then always an opportunity to meet some women locally. You never know.
Got it. One thing I like about Instagram over pretty much any other platform though is so I have my Patreon. I do coaching and stuff now through the Patreon. And I also have like a course. Almost every sales conversion I've gotten for Patreon, that stuff has been through Instagram. Like Instagram's great for sales. TikTok, not so much. It's TikTok's not really great for converting. Otherwise, like, the long form content, like people that actually listen to the podcast, those guys will buy products and stuff like that. But for whatever reason, like I've heard other creators say this too. TikTok's not very good for converting sales. I'm not sure why.
Yeah,
that is. But
well, here's the thing. Here's what my belief is when it comes to Facebook Reels or Instagram Reels is that I believe you have a much easier time with those if you have an initial audience. Like if you have friends on Instagram, like you have a much easier push and your videos get pushed a little bit harder when you have that initial following. I didn't, except for a little bit on Facebook, because on Facebook, I was like, hey, do I want this content going to my family? And I was like, you know what? They're going to find it eventually once they get popular. So I put it on there. But when I initially started, I just did a separate page where I had none and no views on Facebook Reels. Now my Facebook Reels are usually getting into the 2,000 to 3,000 views, but I don't really care about Facebook. Like it's one of those things where but Instagram, I don't have many followers, but I've been running up followers today for the first time in maybe like a month of having the account. So hopefully that video does something, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, Facebook seems like it's almost like a dying platform at this point. It's all like, boomers, and old fogies and stuff. That like that's the only people that really hang out on Facebook these days. I have my account on Facebook, but and I do streams. I do live streams with StreamYard, and they stream to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at the same time. And I'll get views on Facebook when I do that, but it's not that much. It's just not a very happening platform. So yeah, I hear you on that.
Yeah. My mom comes in there to ruin my jokes too. Like a person will come on there and be like, hey, is this satire? My mom will get into the comments and be like, yeah, it's definitely satire.
That's why, like my mom, she's on Twitter and she's really big into like, politics and stuff like that. She started following my podcast account on Twitter. And next thing I know, she's liking every fucking tweet I put out. She's like, commenting like, oh, I'm so proud of you and all this stuff. And I'm like, Mom, unfollow me right now. Fucking,
Yeah.
you are ruining my reputation right now, Mom. But I'm so proud of you, you know.
Yeah.
Mom, you're not helping. You're killing my street cred here. So I've mentioned that you were recently on Glenn Lawrence's show. On his show, you said that women like Pearl and other ladies in the manosphere,
Yeah.
they're teaching women how to better like losers.
Yes.
Do you think that they're really doing that, or do you think that they're just taking advantage of weak men who just want to feel like there's a woman out there that understands them?
I think kind of both an explanation. So I don't know. I always find female influencers, regardless of what they're doing, there's always that element of, hey, I want to appeal to an audience. And I always feel like compared to a man, that drive is a little bit more than what a man's drive is. That they're always like, hey, how can I appeal to an audience? So a lot of it is just, saying to men what they want to hear. So I probably define it as that. When I say better like losers, that's probably the theatrics. They're probably not intentionally doing that, but that's kind of what ends up happening, at least in my opinion. Like the men, they're out there trying to tell the women, like, hey, be more understanding of this man here. And that's never ever going to happen. These women don't choose to be more understanding of a man because they don't choose attraction.
I would say I would definitely categorize like the women's men's rights advocates like that, the MRAs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they are really out there saying, you should give these men a chance, and what you're wondering where all the good men are. They're in your friend zone. Like you should look at your friend zone, which is, women friend zone losers. Like that's that's just what it is. So yeah, I would say that. Whereas I would say women like Pearl, like a majority of their audience, actually a majority of the MRAs I know too, are dudes simping in the comments, like that are just like, yeah, she gets us. They're one of them. Like I'm friends with some of them too, so I like some of them. I'll occasionally, I'll be critical of them, but it's not like them as a person. It's like, their strategy. Sometimes I'm like, what are you doing here? But like Sarah Dawn Moore, for instance, I actually really like Sarah. She's the one. She's got like red background all the time. She blew up really fast, and
I do like her better than Pearl.
Yeah, so like Pearl, like she is legit just out there trying to be an entertainer. And she's even said that. I've seen like online debates where she's like, look, I'm just an entertainer, So she's out there trying to entertain people. Sarah's really, I think her heart's in the right place. She really, is trying to do some good. But the guys in her comments just drive me fucking nuts. Like there's guys in there that will actually call her mommy and shit, which is funny because you make all sorts of jokes about, oh, I want you to be my mommy and shit. And there's fucking guys in Sarah's comments that are calling her mommy. And I'm just like, wow, fucking wow. Get it, sis. And she, I've been on lives with her, right? Like I did her first YouTube live. And she asked me, she's like, do you do lives? I was like, yeah. She goes, do you get super chats? I'm like, yeah, occasionally. Like I'll do a live. I might get like a $10 super chat, maybe a $2 super chat.
Yeah.
That's about it. Right. It's like, it's a nice little tip. No big deal. She goes on there and I go live with her just to test it out for her. She's getting $500 fucking super chats. She's got one guy that sent her 6 separate $100 super chats. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. She made in like the hour we were on there, she made like well over $1,000, I'm just like, this is fucking unbelievable because the guys are like the simps in her comments are just unbelievable. And I'm like, that's not no hate on her. It's like, fucking get it, like get your bag, sis. But
I have hate on her. Like what she should do is she'd be like, look guys, you're simping and you need to stop this. Quit sending me these $500 super chats.
Yeah.
You really believed in our platform, she would turn the money down and tell them to cut the crap.
Nah, she's not gonna. I wouldn't do that. If people were sending me $500 super chats, I'd be like, fuck yeah, thanks, bro. In fact, I've got this for people that send super chats here. People that listen to the audio version, they've probably never heard this before. But if you tune into my lives, when people send me a super chat, I like to play this one.
I was just going to say it. This guy fucks. Am I right?
So if you guys tune in on a live on a Wednesday or Friday, send a super chat. I'll play that for you. So one thing I want to say is, so going back to those women, like, it's like a lot of guys in the men's space will get really pissed at having these chicks in the space, because, and I think a lot of that too, some of it is you're not really helping men. Some of them aren't, some of them like do give solid advice. I just interviewed a date coach that goes by Jamie Date. I don't know. Are you familiar with Jamie Date?
No.
So Jamie Date, at first, my first impression of her was that, oh man, it's just a female dating coach, But actually having talked to her, she and I have like a very similar background. We both did door-to-door sales for the same company. So she has a very unique understanding of what it's like to get rejected, like, sort of basically cold approach, get rejected, how to push through that anxiety and how to make people like you quickly. So I'm like, oh, okay, I have a different level of respect for you. But I would say a majority of the chicks are just telling guys what they want to hear. It's very blue pill, Disney princess bullshit. Sounds like we're on the same page with that. Fair enough. All right. Going back to Glenn's show, you also mentioned, I would say this sounded like this was sort of your like red pill chick, right? Like almost all of us end up reading books and learning about how to be better with women because there was one chick usually that was the catalyst for that. So you mentioned a married woman that you were dating before the COVID lockdowns as sort of being your red pill chick. Can you tell us what happened with that?
Yeah, so I worked for Southern New Hampshire University at the time, and I was an academic advisor there. This was after I was a broker for most of my years through Fidelity, but worked for Southern New Hampshire University, and I got to work with a bunch of women, and that was kind of cool. So I was talking to women, and then I met one, like, she kind of just started jumping fences to always be around me, and like she was married, and it just kind of vibed and stuff. And I was just like, hey, maybe this is the woman I'm going to be with. This woman's amazing. And it was like total limerence or whatever you want to call it. Like it was infatuation or whatever it was. And then, she's like, yeah, I'm going to leave my husband. And then I got ready for that. And she's like, actually, guess what? I'm not going to. And then, it didn't happen. And like, I got all messed up. Like I had a DUI shortly after that kind of screwed things up. Like, and then after that, like I just totally turned my life around. I was like, look, I don't want to do drugs, no alcohol, like totally eliminated all of that. Started working on myself, started going to the gym, kind of adopted, the full red pill mentality, when it comes to, being careful with women. I don't think women are all terrible, but there are terrible women out there. And, my life's pretty solid right now. This is now my full-time gig. And, I'm putting everything I can into it. It's growing. It looks like it's going to grow. And I'm incorporated now. The MisoGenius is trademarked. And I'm ready to make a stab with this. I don't see any reason why it's not going to continue to grow. It's just a matter of time and putting the work in.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Well, I was going to say something too about a part of that, but I can't remember what I was going to say. That happens. So going back to the dating the married woman thing. I personally don't think that it's a good idea to date married women. It's
definitely not.
It's a bad idea for a lot of reasons. It's funny though, 'cause, like I put out a tweet one time, and I remember what I was going to say. I'll get to that in a second. Hopefully, I don't forget again. I put out a tweet one time saying how like don't date married women, right? And there's a lot of guys in the red pill space, that guys that are like wrote all the books, like Rollo and fucking Ryan Stone and all those guys. We all follow each other, and one of the guys was like, dude, red pill's not about morality, right? So just blanketly telling a guy, hey, don't date married chicks doesn't help men. Now you might say why you wouldn't do it, like why it might not be a good idea. But the fact of the matter is if you just shut it down, and say, hey, whoa, let's not even talk about it because it's such a bad thing, then we don't learn anything. And one thing that the red pill has learned is a lot about women's nature from guys that have no problem sleeping with married women.
Yeah.
You know, so we've learned a lot about women's nature from guys that have done that kind of shit, and like how women cheat. But one thing that came to my mind listening to that story was, I mean, like, one of the big reasons that I would recommend against dating a married woman, at least if you want to, like, at least if you expect anything long term, is that, hey, if she's willing to leave her current husband for you,
Yeah.
she's going to leave you for some other dude eventually.
Exactly. And on top of that, you know, it's the blue pill mentality is saying, hey, if I care extra about this woman, then I'm going to accept this woman's kids along with her. And my red pill mentality is tremendously different right now. My red pill mentality is, as of right now, like, women are not my priority as far as dating or sex is concerned. If sex becomes an opportunity, yeah, every once in a while, and I hooked up recently, but it's definitely not one of my priorities or something that I'm supposed to be putting any large focus on.
Yeah, got it. What I was going to say was, you said it's not all women, like, right? You're like, I don't think that there's, you know, all women are bad or whatever.
Yeah.
One of the things that I learned from Ryan Stone, who's, you know, he's Rule Zero panelist with Rollo and me on Saturdays. But he says, we all know that it's not all women, right? But he's like, you should treat it like it is all women. It's kind of like a loaded gun. You know, treat all guns like they're loaded. They're not all loaded, but if you treat them like they're all loaded, then you have that healthy respect for them, and you're less likely to get shot. So there's a good reason to treat all women like they could potentially be trash, you know? I think there's something to that.
I'm just looking for hookups right now. Like, I'm not looking to settle down. Like, so with hookups, like, hookups for every woman. Like, you know, your woman over 30, fine. Maybe woman with kids, you know, if you want to hook up, fine. Woman you want to settle down with, for me, it would be to have children. So I'd want a younger woman. So that's where my mindset is with the types of women I date now. And a married woman isn't even in the ballpark. Like, that was a poor decision. That was from a scarcity mindset. It was just like, man, you know, not many women like me, you know, but this woman likes me. Let me get to this woman. And it's a much easier, it's better to have more choices than less choices in life. So
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. And when it comes to like, single moms, for instance, like, I'm one of the guys in the space that I'm like, I'm not anti single mom. I think there's a unique circumstance for those, right? Like, if you're a single dad, then single moms are great, right? If you're an older guy and you have kids and you're just like, I have no desire to have more kids, dude, single moms are perfect, because usually single moms don't want to have more kids themselves, you know? But it only works if you have the same parenting schedule, and you both agree not to parent each other's kids, right? Like, you take the kids out of the equation and it works out great. Like, I have no problem with that. But guys who have no kids of their own, they have no business getting an LTR with a single mom. Like, you're just going to end up taking care of some other dude's kids. You know, it's like that. Those kids have a dad out there somewhere.
Yeah.
It's not your problem. It's not your problem. And that might be a hard thing to say. And some of the blue pill guys that are out there trying to save women, it's like, dude, you know, a lot of the times too, when women are like, oh, my ex-husband was abusive and that's why they don't have the kids, it's all bullshit. You know, a lot of it is bullshit. They just don't like their ex-husband, so they keep their kids away from their husband. Yeah. And like, he would love to be there 50% of the time, but she won't let him. Like, that's like, I would say a majority of the single moms that are out there that have their kids full time. It's like, they're just being cunts. You know, it's not that the dad doesn't want anything to do with it. Because that's like every dad that I know that has been through that have had their kids taken from them and divorced. It's been a situation like that. They weren't bad dads. They just like the spiteful ex-wife is really the problem. So
Yeah.
they're not your problem. Okay, so we're getting here near the end here, but so you were a stockbroker, but you're doing this full time now.
This is gonna be my full-time gig with the objective of monetizing, and I think I'll be there. I think I'll be there soon enough on YouTube to do it. It's growing at an exponential rate, and I'm gonna keep improving things until I get there. So that's the goal, is to grow in this space, and I'm gonna give it a whack. I don't have to work right now, and I probably don't have to ever work, but I'd like to have a higher income than what I do. So I'm putting it all into this, and we're gonna see where it goes.
Do you just have are you just living off of investments from your time as a stockbroker then?
Yeah.
Okay. That's sweet. That's a sweet gig. Yeah. Cause I want to, my goal is to make the podcast my full-time thing. I'm not quite there yet. And then the advertising revenue you get from YouTube. I mean, I think for it to be significant for you to comfortably live, you have to have a big fucking following on there,
Yeah.
Not there yet. So how do you plan on monetizing as you're working up to that? Are you going to start selling merch? What are you going to do?
I think that there could be an opportunity to sell merch, but I don't have any urgency to monetize. So it's because the urgency to monetize isn't there right now. My primary focus on urgency is building an audience and figuring out the best ways to build an audience. And it's different from platform to platform. Like with YouTube, it's posting the content and then engaging in the comments with my user base. It's pretty basic on YouTube. It's much, much different, however, on TikTok. With TikTok, I'm building relationships with the people there, particularly the women that are my followers, because I'm friends with them as well. So I'll have time out of the day where, I'm replying to their comments, but then I'll have time out of my day where I go into my friends feed, and then all of their stuff comes down onto my platform, and then I'm in there typing to them. Because when you build that relationship with them, kind of like building one with a client, when you build that relationship there, they become stickier and they stay with you, and there's reciprocity. They're more in there, sharing your comments. They might be more apt to tell a family member, like, hey, this guy's really funny, come take a look at his stuff. So for me on TikTok, it's relationship building. For me on YouTube, it's just putting out more and more content. And I think my YouTube is just going to grow organically from that. I don't think I see any end in sight as far as the growth there.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That's pretty much all the questions I have today, Jim. Where can people find you online?
They can find me. So I have my own website, www.themisogenius.com. I don't do much on the website, but feel free to visit me there. You can sign up for my newsletter. It has all my socials there. My primary accounts are YouTube at The MisoGenius, as well as TikTok at The MisoGenius. And I'm also The MisoGenius on Instagram, or you can find me on Jim Settle, Jim Settle on Facebook. Feel free to send me a friend request there.
Okay. Are these all linked in your website?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I might just post the website there. You guys can all go to Jim's website and then follow him on whatever social that way. That might be a good way to do it. Sign up for his newsletter. All right, Jim. Well, that's pretty much all I have today, man. I'll let you have your evening back.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Paul.
Yeah, man. Anytime. Jim, thank you so much for joining me today. Brother, you are welcome back anytime. You're a funny guy. I love your content. I get a kick out of all of it. He asked me to post his link tree in the comments. So check out his link tree. You can find him on all social medias. He's making short form content. So you can find it on YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, and more importantly, TikTok. So check out Jim. He's a funny dude, the MisoGenius. And yeah, it's super funny. We were talking about how, a lot of these women in the space, in the red pill space, are trying to tell women to, date losers. You guys be more sensitive to the losers out there. And it's like, chicks aren't going to listen to that. What it's going to do, it's going to, sort of bring these guys in and get these women huge followings of losers that don't want to level up. And hey, more power to those chicks. More power to those chicks. So, all right. Yeah, Jim, welcome back anytime, brother. All right, guys, if you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, hit those notifications. Drop a comment. Any comment will do. Your favorite emoji, all that kind of stuff helps us out in the algorithm. If you guys are listening on your favorite audio platform of choice, give us a 5-star review and write out why you like the show. I will read your reviews in an upcoming episode. Follow me on all social media. I'm on all the good ones. The links are in the description. Get on the Patreon, patreon.com/comeonmanpod. You can join for as little as $10. You get all of these episodes ad-free without this stuff, without the outro stuff. You get just the interviews ad-free, the meat, what you guys actually want from the episodes. You get that all ad-free, and you get them ahead of time because I post those on the Fridays before. So get on the Patreon for $10. Support the show. And then if you want any kind of coaching, tiers 2 and tier 3 are available through Patreon as well. Get on the email list.comeonmanpod.com, and I will send you some free stickers. I'm not spamming people. It's really just in case I ever get deplatformed, I can, email you guys and say, hey, follow me on my new account or whatever. And if you like the stickers, they're available in merch as well. Here's a mug I'm showing for you guys on YouTube. On YouTube, my merch is available right below the video because I've got an integration with Teespring. But if you guys are listening on audio, browse to merch.comeonmanpod.com. That's merch.comeonmanpod.com, and you can get hoodies, t-shirts, coffee mugs, all that usual stuff that supports the show as well. And finally, check out my practical law of attraction course, loa.comeonmanpod.com. That's loa.comeonmanpod.com. Learn how to get your mind right, guys. All right, that's all I have for this week. And be sure to tune in Wednesday for the live stream. We'll catch you later.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. New full episodes served hot every Monday morning on your favorite podcast platform of choice. So subscribe now. Follow Paul on social media. The links are in the description. Now, go out and get it.